So this blade has sprung up over the top. So I'll just drop these shears off because they're of absolutely no use nor ornament now. You guys might not have seen the Gator yet. We bought a Gator. Ratchet straps have come off that were older than the Gator, and it's battered the back door. You'll notice using Stihl chainsaws. This is my 361. My opinion, probably the best saw ever made. Well, the day has not begun well. You'll see in the last video I was repairing the tree shears. It's not gone exactly to plan. Frustratingly, I've tracked 20 minutes, 25 minutes to the other side of the site. We're coppicing a hedge. It's got to be done before the 1st of March for bird nesting, but the idea is to coppice it all off. I'll show you that in a little while, and that'll allow it to regenerate. Then it can be laid in a few years' time. Just gone dead leggy and overgrown. Anyway, we got there, and the shears have eaten themselves. So this blade has sprung up over the top of here, and that's because the hub underneath has bent. You'll have seen us putting all the bolts back in, tightening it up, and we straightened the shear out, and it's just keddled around on the first tree that we tried to cut. But most frustratingly, it's gone into the end of this gripper and buried itself in there, really quite dramatically. You see how it's cut into itself? Just in one action, boom. That's now jammed, and these great big rams still haven't got the power to pull itself back out, so the shear is dead. I think it's a write-off, to be honest. Just catastrophically destroyed itself. So that is going to be the end of tree shearing for us for the 2025-26 season. These are going to have to get replaced. We'll have a new set for next autumn, and we'll carry on. But it does leave us with this job that we're on currently, where we've got several hundred metres of hedgerow to coppice. So we're going to have to go back to old school and coppice it all off with a chainsaw. When you see these hedges in a minute, you'll see how overgrown they are, how scratched they are. Any of you have done this before, big overgrown hedges, getting in the bottom with a chainsaw to cut them all off. The material's trying to drop on top of you. The thorns scratched to hell, not nice. Paul's on his way down, and he's going to bring the forestry mulching head. And what I'm going to do, it's far too wet to get down there with the tractor, is grind them all back as hard as I can to the stows. And then we'll be able to get them with a chainsaw, cut them a lot easier without getting scratched to hell. So I'll just drop these shears off, because they're of absolutely no use nor ornament now. And Paul's just turned up now with the mulching head, which is perfect timing. Just tracking across site now, I've just seen a short-eared owl. Don't know if you can see it here, whether you can just see him there now, in the rushes. It's brilliant, the conservation work's paying off. See if we can get a closer look. There he goes. Yeah, that was just couched on the floor in the reeds. It's beautiful to see. So we've got the forestry mulcher on site. We get something done. You can see this ditch that I'm working alongside. It's kind of almost got a hedge on two sides of it. It's been neglected for such a long time. We can't get in to dig the ditch out. So the concept here is to clean this bank off, and then the far bank we're going to coppice the hedge. You see how it's getting all really dead and leggy, it'll be very gappy in there. So by coppicing that far side out, all that material can shoot back and grow. We'll then dig the ditch out, fence both sides of the ditch, and then in the future that far hedge can be laid, and this bank will be available for access, for excavating the ditch and maintaining it. We'll get rid of all these briars, bits of regen, blackthorn and hawthorn on this side, and it'll get a bit easier. I was going to obviously coppice the far side of the hedge with the tree shears, but with those now out of action, what we'll do is we'll go along the back side of that hedge with the mulcher, trim it all right back to the stow, then we'll be able to get in easy with a chainsaw to coppice it off. Then we'll lift all the material out either with this digger and the rotator grab or the forwarding trailer. I know one of the previous videos where we were clearing up down those track sides with quite a lot of comments on the mulcher. Some people thinking of different machines, different heads that may be less oil hungry. I commented back to quite a few people, you know, that this is, I totally get this is a compromise. It's never going to be a big high horsepower mulcher, but just on a site like this you can see how versatile it is for us. where we need the excavator for digging the ditches out. We did need the excavator for doing the tree shearing, but obviously that's gone by and by. But I'll need the rotator grab on the machine as well for moving all the material. So just by having the excavator here, I still think this is pretty high output for the type of environment we're in and what we're doing. And it does mean that just this one excavator can do so many tasks, or all the tasks that are required on the site. So yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with it, to be fair. It's these sort of attachments that make 13-ton classic excavator so versatile. Little dog rows, that's going to be in the way when we're fencing, so we can get rid of that. Get rid of the old fence posts. Bish bash bosh, gone. Something wants greasing again. Just started getting a little squeak on these main pivot points. It's probably a day or so, day or two since it was last greased. So just bang a bit of grease on there, because I can't do with listening to that squeaking. Just fold the boom in and then be able to get to those top grease nipples. Excellent. These machines are really easy to grease. Just having these little pipes down makes everything a lot more accessible. That sort of central greasing block there. A few more down here. Pretty quick and easy to grease. So I'm pretty sure this video is going to be going out on Saturday. Depending what time you're watching this, either England will have, or just about to be, playing their first game in the Six Nations against Wales. And depending on the result will mean whether or not Gareth Wyn-Jones is going to have to wear an England top. I'm really looking forward to the competition. You should see what I mean here. You know, it's absolutely futile having a hedge on both sides of a ditch. You know, the ditch is completely unmaintainable. The water in there is absolutely rank, stagnant. You just can't get in to maintain it. It's just been neglected for decades and decades. So getting one of these banks cleared out, we can manage that hedge on the other side. The water quality is going to improve no end, and it'll help the drainage of the whole site, which is very reedy, a lot of soft rush, and not delivering what it could be to either habitat or grazing farmland. So it's a bit of a reset on this area of the site. So often in this sort of rough grazing ground, you know, there's just less and less impetus to put into management as the return gets lower and lower on the ground. But every now and again, just having a bit of a reset, sorting out all the ditches, sorting out the hedges, sorting out the fences, just getting the site reset and productive, both in terms of agricultural output and also this particular client's outputs are agricultural and ecological, so they've got a real interest in the biodiversity, and I want to try and enhance the habitat here as much as improve the agricultural returns of the site. It's a bit of a balancing act, but the two things can go hand in hand. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the videos, and thanks to all the new subscribers we've had. It's really appreciated for those of you taking the time to subscribe. It means a lot to us, helps us grow the little channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you enjoy some of the videos we're making, please hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing at all. All it does is just means that we get more reach on YouTube. It suggests it to more people. You guys might get a notification, or it might pop up on your suggested feeds that we've got a new video out. Just really helps give us a little boost, really, for no cost whatsoever. So if you would hit that subscribe button, it would mean a great deal to us. Oh, you sod. I just tried to be a bit clever then and just flick a roll of sheep netting out of the way. And it's just gone right round the rotor. I thought I just got it with the guard. Oh, the rotor was slowing down as well. I'll show you what I've just done. Little rolls where the fence has been taken out of stock netting. I just tried to side swipe it with the back of the rotor, just with the back of the guard, and one just kicked over. It's just gone right round the bloody rotor. That is stereotypical lazy digger driver. Should have got out. Oh, bloody hell. We had this around a stone barrier. You've seen in one video. We ended up cutting it all out with a gas axe. Oh, bloody hell, Rick. The next roll of sheep netting I come across, I'll definitely get out and kick it out of the way myself. I mean, that just caught it for a nanosecond. Woo! The rotor was only going about half speed. Should have known better. I do know better. I just do these things to help you guys, so you don't make the same stupid mistakes that I make. Oh, this is working. So just getting the tree stump and just pushing the rotor round gently. It is slowly. Hey! Thank goodness for that. Well, that was a bit trick, wasn't it? So obviously not engaging the flail whatsoever, it'll just free flow return round, just pushing it against the stump. It's managed to force the wire out. Right, we're definitely not doing that job again. Back in business. Oh, I thought that was going to be a showstopper then for a minute. I thought that was game over. I thought it was back to the workshop. That would have really, really, really frustrated me. I know some people don't like January and February, like start getting to that longer daylight, and I get that from a farming point of view, getting fert spread and that sort of stuff, and crops growing and spraying and getting on with all that stuff is good. For us it's a bit different really. We get restricted on the vegetation management, so we can't get on with that with bird nesting, and then the ground's often too wet, or a lot of the sites are often too wet to really be able to get on fencing well. And hopefully during March, by March, we like to have completed all the hedge planting and tree planting for the year, because I do like to get that done in a timely fashion. I don't like seeing the buds starting to break, and I always think the establishment's better earlier in the winter, so we try and get as much of that done as possible and finished off. So March can be a frustrating month that we're approaching for us, unless it's dry. If we have a dry March and the fields are drying up and we can get on with the fencing, because there's a lot of fencing ahead of us, a lot of fencing, then it's not so bad. We can just get on, crack on, fencing, and then through into spring proper, and life is nice. Then the grassman work and all that sort of stuff carries on, the excavator work, the stuff where we're doing the ponds and lakes and stuff where we want better ground conditions and don't want to be pumping and moving water too much. That all sort of starts to kick in a little bit later in spring. But it's just that March. You need a dry March, and I'm a happy contractor. Right, I think it's getting a bit late now, we'll call it a night. Lights on this excavator aren't brilliant. It's got the one up there, a little one down on the side of the machine down there. Don't give you a massive amount of work light. I think what we'll have to do is get a light bar for the top of the cab and get 3 or 4 decent LED lights that would just light up a bit more of a work area. It's just not brilliant in this low level. If you were just digging, I don't know, just digging a hole or something, it wouldn't be so bad, but you've got sort of task lighting to where your attachment is. It doesn't give you a lot of peripheral vision around what you're doing. So on this mulching job where these big tall trees were taken out and stuff, and all this big shrubbery, it's not good enough to see what you're doing. It's going to rip a pipe off if we're not careful. So we'll call it a night and we'll hit it again tomorrow. I'll be glad to see the end of this week. It just seems everything goes wrong at the same time. So got the shears remended over the weekend. Monday, first part of the site, get over, shears break immediately. Yesterday, get to site, Can't leave the vehicles, there's cattle all over the field, they haven't been moved. They're just going to rub and break all the wing mirrors and stuff, so we had to abandon the day on that, which was very frustrating. So today I come down, we put the Gator on because we've got to get all the way across a very, very wet, muddy site. And it's a long way across with the chainsaws and tools. So I bring the Gator down, strap it all on yesterday. Thought it was just runging a bit under braking. Ratchet straps have come off that were holding the Gator, and it's battered the back door. So that's wrecked, needs replacing. Just at the end of the journey, I felt a bit of shunting. Never thought, get out when I get here, wreck that. It's like everything's going wrong at the same time. And it's my birthday tomorrow. I might just stay in bed. I might just stay in bed tomorrow. I've pretty much had enough of this week. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Put some wellies on. We're in the slop of this lot. Frustrating, some of these projects that they come on right at the very end of winter. It's time critical for stuff, and you've got no way of delaying and waiting for a decent weather window. Makes it so much more difficult for contracting. If you've got time to plan and schedule, you can do things in decent conditions. And we are just up against it, working in slop. I thought I was chancing it a bit because I needed to get the rotator grab on as well as the Gator. And I couldn't pull it back, I had to pull it inwards with the straps, not outwards, and bugger me, that's what happens. Hope it's not damaged the front. That's going to take a bit of straightening out. Yes, that's not a great start, is it? Maybe we can straighten it, maybe we can't, I don't know. That's kind of caring at the moment. So it does the front of the Gator. Just chewed that bit of plastic up there. Nothing too dramatic, also a little bull bar on there. Yeah, anyway, that's a little Gator that we bought to help Paul's knee. Thought it was going to be useful for this job, and I've done more damage than good so far. And Luke's on his way down, so he's got a pair of helping hands today. So I'm just going along with the mulching head now. You see how the hedge on this side, with all this thorn and all this briar and all the hedge grown out, quite a long way from the main stems of the hedge. We've got to get in there to coppice it off. So I'm just going along now, clearing out all the briars, much of the size as I can. It would be much easier to get in there with the chainsaws on and coppice that. Just having half an hour down here now along this hedgerow will make it so much faster for going through with the chainsaws. Luke's up here now with the forestry mulcher. He's just trimming those sides out like I was doing earlier. So we've got better visibility, easier access into the bottom of the stiles to start cutting them off with the chainsaw. So it's a bit of a power hour now before lunch. Just try and cut as much of this down as we can. Little Gator's been good though. It's so wet across these fields. We won't get across here with the Land Rovers. You'll notice using Stihl chainsaws. This is my 361. My opinion, probably the best saw ever made. The 362s and all the later ones have all got that electronic jazz on the carburettor, where that's just good, simple, reliable. So that's my go-to saw. Well, that has been absolutely brutal. Oh my goodness, there's some work in that. Coppicing these big old edges over. Here's one tangled, difficult, messy operation. Never quite sure which way it wants to fall. The weight's difficult to judge because they're all bending all over the place. And it's having a day like this. You can see why God invented tree shears. Luke's just finishing off the very last stems now, which is excellent. What we're doing is leaving leaving stools of hazel wherever the stools of hazel are. When this hedge is coppiced back up, about 8 years' time, we can use some of the hazel as winders and hedge laying stakes. So I like to leave the hazel intact, and that'll be a material that we can use during the laying process in future years. So that's pretty cool. See where Luke is now, it's just like battling, trying to get the stools as low as we possibly can. And then they'll sprout out, cutting them on an angle so it sheds the water. And if they've got like multi-stems coming out, try and slant them all away from the stool so it doesn't harbour water and leaf litter in the centre, getting them as low as we can, where we can. It's not always possible to get that low with the soil and stones and stuff, but yeah, low as we can. Jungle, is that the last one?
That's the last one.
Epic. See if you can get out of there. All these stools will regenerate. If you don't cut these off when they the side of these ditch banks, they get so tall and leggy, the banks give way. When it's got so big like this, it's so difficult to try and make any sense of laying it. Most of the pletches just snap off. It's so tangled, you just can't do much sense with it. So by coppicing it all off, letting it go again, and then get back into management with the laying in 8 or 10 years' time, it's a much better job. You guys might not have seen the Gator yet. We bought a Gator. We'll talk more about that in another video, of why we bought a Gator and all the rest of it. Oliver's done a bit of a review on one. We'll save that for another video. All I'll just say is that without that today, it's miles and miles across this site, and it's wet as you like. Can't get anything else across it other than the digger or that. The Land Rover's no go. Having that today so we can buzz around with the chainsaws and all the gear, PPE and all the rest of it, absolute game changer. We'll just go back to the yard, work in that really wet environment. The Gator's absolute disgrace. I bent my back door, as you saw earlier. And to be honest, it's been a pretty miserable week. I was feeling a bit glum, and it's my birthday tomorrow. And I don't really want to end the week, after all the breakdowns with the shears and the mither we've had. And I tell you what, it's just made me realise that the most important thing in life is friends. And just as I was driving back now, I just happened to be driving along, and Michael from GCS Machinery just rung me. He's become a really good mate. We've known each other now 12 months. That's all, through the YouTube. Before that, actually, it was over a diesel tank. And we've become really good friends. You know, certain people you just gel with straight away. And he just rang me up for a quick chat, and I just vented out all the things that have gone wrong this week. He's like, that's cool. And he told me a few things that has gone well for him, and a few things that have gone bad for him this week. And after about half an hour chatting away, as we've just been back from site, I feel so much better. So big thank you to Michael at GCS. He's genuinely top bloke. On a happier note, to end this week and end the video, I'm going to get that mess off the trailer on the wash bay, clean it off, and it'll make me feel happy and good. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please hit the like, subscribe, helps grow the channel, gets it pushed out a little bit more and costs nothing whatsoever to you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you in the next episode, more upbeat. Yeah, so if you haven't already found Michael's channel, go to @GCS Machinery on YouTube, have a watch. He does one every day, every other day, all about machinery hire and all that sort of stuff. Go and check it out. And if you do go check it out, drop him a comment saying you cheered Rick up. That'd be ace, really appreciate it. That'll be the end of the video. I'm just gonna watch this now. So if you wanna carry on watching this, Oliver will play a bit of rock music. If you're into that, you can listen to a bit of rock music while I watch a Gator.